What is up, guys? In today's tutorial we're going to be creating this image that you see right here, and that image is going to be coming from this particular image of this movie that you see right here. Now in this image you'll notice that half of this person right here is supposed to be one other guy. You can see right here his beard with his beanie up at the top and his piercing. And then right here you see somebody that's scarred and damaged, and then over here it looks like it's somebody else with no hair and perfectly normal. Um, we're gonna improvise. We always want to create this to make it look like our own, and so therefore we're gonna be creating this image as close as we could as possible. Now the way we're gonna do this is first of all I'm gonna need for you guys to go ahead and install these fonts that I gave you, Nexa Bold and Nexa Light. We're going to install those. And so this is the image that we're going to be creating. So once you organize all your files into files used, finished files, so files used is going to be all this stuff. Yeah, including that image. And then under working files, you're going to have whatever it is you're working on. So first things first, go to File, New. Since this document is going to be an example of how we are going to do it when we actually print, we're going to work with 300 in resolution. So let's go ahead and go to 300 resolution. Our width will be 11 and our height will be 16. And we're going to go ahead and click Create. Now just for the sake of being able to know what we're doing here, we're going to go to File and Place. And I'm going to go ahead and go over here to my 2018 class. You guys are graphic design, movie posters, and files used. And I'm going to import this guy right here. So File, Place. Just make him a little bit bigger right here and press Enter. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up this image. And now notice this one I'm actually going to open because I'm not going to actually place it in there, not yet anyways. So the reason I'm not doing that yet is because I want to remove her from the background. So again, using what we already know, our quick selection, make sure this is set to plus, auto enhance turned on, and around 25 for now should be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in, Control plus, and as I zoom in I'm just gonna go ahead and select starting right here at the hair. And now I see that I'm grabbing parts that I don't want, but for right now that's perfectly okay. And I'm just gonna go this way and continue throughout here. And so now I'm gonna hold Alt so I can get that little minus sign and go ahead and subtract some of these areas. So by holding down Alt again, I'm able to subtract some of these areas right here. With this area subtracted, I'm gonna reselect this little part right here. And now if you're struggling with this, guys, just take your time. Remember Control Z or start all over from the beginning. So you can always go to select, deselect, and you take away that selection. So just try your best with this selection, and any struggle that comes around, just start all over. Try it again until you get a decent selection. So you see right here, this selection is okay. Right here is fine. We need to get this part of the eyes. That part's okay, just like that. And so I have a pretty decent selection right now, as you can see. So now I'm going to go over to Select and Mask. Make sure that if you have this set to like here or here, any one of these, that you select the one that's on white. Make sure you select your these guys over here. I have no idea why I have them here. They should be up here. But make sure you select this one, which is supposed to say Refine Edge Brush. And let's go ahead and click Smart Radius and switch this over to, say, around maybe 3. From here, we're just going to color inside here and just kind of grab parts of these little hair. Just like so. You're going to notice that parts of those hairs already start grabbing on. So just like so. There we go. And then we want to go ahead and do this part. There we go. So now we have a pretty decent selection right there. I know it's not perfect, but we'll fix that later on. Over here where it says output settings, we're going to go ahead and put new layer with layer mask. And then click OK. What that's going to allow us to do is that it's going to create this image in a new layer once we press OK, which is exactly what we want so we can make the necessary changes. So now that it's in a new layer, as you can see, here's the original, here's the other one. We're going to go ahead and grab our brush tool. Make sure my brush is small. And my hardness is set to around 80%. And so the reason why I want to set my hardness to around 80% is because I do kind of want soft edges, but I don't want them so soft as to the point that it looks unrealistic. So we're going to go ahead and select our layer mask over here. So if you have the layer selected, make sure you go to layer mask. And we're going to select black. Set our flow. My flow currently is set to 5%, so I need to change it to 100%. And set our flow and just kind of erase these little areas right here. And we're just going to kind of make it into a nice shape, just like so. And then switch over from black to white and just kind of go in there and grab that extra stuff right there. There we go. And a little bit right there. And so that is a pretty decent selection right there. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and grab my selection tool. Make sure I'm grabbing my layer. And we're going to move her over into here. And press OK. So from here, we're going to go ahead and make her a little bit bigger. And we kind of want for her to start somewhere at the bottom. You notice how he has part of his shoulders and stuff there showing. So we're going to go ahead and do the same with her. Make this a lot bigger. Right, and remember, hold shift as you're doing this so as to not mess up your image. And we'll go ahead and put it right around there. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now the second thing I'm going to do here is kind of minimize this one. And that's because I want to kind of grab some colors that are in this image. So grabbing my eyedropper tool right here, my eyedropper, I'm going to go ahead and select this one right here, this little purple color right there. Just click and you'll notice that the color changes. So I move around, you notice all these colors that are changing there. So I'm going to grab this color right here. Go ahead and switch over so that my foreground is now at the top. I'm going to grab this color over here. So we should have these two purplish and bluish colors. Creating a new layer, I'm going to go ahead and grab my gradient tool. And my gradient tool, I'm going to make sure that if I have it set to just a perfect line, I'm going to switch it over to radio. And make sure you're on your new layer and just click and stretch out just like so. And so you notice I have the purple on the inside and blue on the outside, so I want to switch that out to blue and purple the other way. So just like so. That looks pretty cool. So now that I have this image, one more thing that I want to do to kind of give that style look that you notice right here in the edges, kind of like noisy look. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one up, go to filter, and under filter I'm going to go over to noise and add noise. Under noise, you'll notice right here that it's starting to add some noise. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to around 5%. That's fine. Click OK. And now you'll notice that it has some kind of texture to the actual artwork right there, which is what we want to do. And we can put this image right here. And I notice there's still a little bit of mistakes right here, so I'll go ahead and remove those with the black brush. Just kind of grab that and boom, get rid of that part. Make this a lot smaller. And just get rid of that. Just like so. So now that that's erased, we now have to cut her into 3 pieces. But if we grab our polygon lasso tool and we just start, selecting parts of her just like this, you'll notice that something goes wrong. Well, for starters, copy and paste, we get this. That's because I had my mask selected. And if I just select her and I do copy and paste, I get that, which is without my mask, which is not what I want to do. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right here is I'm actually going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Paste Special, and I'm going to put Paste into Place. When I do that, that means that it's going to be selected at the exact same part. So all I'm going to do here is select my mask, hold Alt on my keyboard, and drag it up. That's going to replicate that mask over here. And so from here, I'm just going to select with my polygon lasso tool. Actually, not yet. From here, I'm actually going to go over to my hue and saturations and go to colorize. Switch this over to some kind of purple right there, something like that. And then go ahead and right click and put create clipping mask. That's going to clip the image only to this particular side right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and lower my opacity just a bit. So it looks kind of like that, kind of cool. You see that? And so now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my original. Make sure I select this image. Grab my polygon lasso tool and do the same thing. Come here and then come this way and close it back up. And I'm going to do the same thing. Control C to copy, then go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste into Place. And then grab my mask, hold Alt, and bring it up to the top. So while holding this one, I'm going to go over to my hue and saturation. I'm going to switch this one over to like a pink. Make sure you search colorized. A pink color, just like so. There we go. Right click and put create clipping mask. Now that I have that, I'm going to lower my opacity a bit. And I have this kind of look going on here. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for this last part. So I'm going to grab this one. Let's get a straight line just like so. Bring it here, here, and here. And with that, I'm going to be able to go to Control C. Then I'm going to go to Edit, Paste into Place, and paste it right here. Holding Alt, I'm going to drag over my mask right here. Make sure you select that layer, go to Hue and Saturation, and let's change this one to colorized and some kind of blue right there. That looks pretty cool. And then go over to my opacity and just drag this down a bit. Make sure you right click and create clipping mask. Something like that. And so if you look at the original image, by hiding all these, you'll notice that, his has a little bit more of like a cool look to it, right? So one thing that we'll do new to this one is we're going to go ahead and create a new layer at the very top. So select the last layer up here and create a new layer. With this new layer, oops, I created two. With this new layer, we're going to actually grab our brush. We're going to switch our brush over to black. So make sure it's set to black. We're going to go over to our brush size and we're going to switch this over to 0 and make our brush size be around maybe 2000. Yeah, around 2000 is fine. Then we're going to go over here to where our flow is at, and we're going to switch over our flow to 5%. Now with this being done here, if you start coloring around the edges just like so, you'll notice that they start to get dark. And you just want to darken this up to kind of create this cool look where everything's kind of pointing out into the center. There we go. So before and after, right? So that looks kind of cool. It gives it more of a little pop there. And then one of the things that the original image didn't have, but I added, which was here to this one, right click, go to blending options, and just add a little drop shadow. Let's see if it works. I believe it was to this one. I need to click OK, select both of these, and put both of these up at the top. Okay, I see. I made a mistake. All the way to the top, right here. There we go. So now that these layers are at the top, you can see the little drop shadow, and I think it looks pretty cool. Anyways, the original image has what says moonlight at the very bottom. So we're going to go ahead and type that. And to do so, we're going to grab our typing tool, go over to Nexa Bold, the one I told you guys to install. And we're going to go ahead and click Moonlight, Control A, switch this over to white, and switch the font size to around 30. 72, yeah, 72 looks about right. And we're going to bring this in here, make sure it's at the very top. And so Moonlight, although it looks cool, I think Nexa Light will work a lot better. Yeah. And we're going to select everything. Make sure everything is selected. And holding Alt and using your arrow keys in your keyboard, you can spread this out just a tad bit. We're going to put it just around there. Moonlight. We're going to go to right click and blending options. On blending options, we're going to go to an outer glow. And I already have it set from the last time I did it, but pretty much you want to set a little baby blue color right around there. And change the opacity just a bit to where you can kind of see it, not too much. Something like that. Go ahead and click OK. That creates a cool, unique little look. Or make this actually a little bit bigger and set it up a little higher. The next part is to add the text that goes at the very top, which says, "This is the story of a lifetime." So I'm going to go ahead and type that. This is the story of a lifetime. Control A to select everything and switch this over to around 24% and bring that up to the top. Control A. And let's spread this out, again holding Alt and the arrow keys. And let's go ahead and put that right around there. This is the story of a lifetime. And from here, what we need to do is go ahead and type this bottom part, which I've already typed out, and it took me a while, so I'm not going to do that again, but I already have it here. So from here, I can zoom in. You guys can pause the video and you guys can see what it says. So there you go. Pause the video at this point and copy what it says, or just look at the picture that I'll give you and you guys can go ahead and put all that information there. So when you actually make your movie poster, right here you can just kind of supplement. Just keep this text already written and just supplement it with, like, instead of 824, you can say, you know, Harmony Science Academy with Tiger Vision Entertainment presents a Tiger Vision and Harmony production, the name of the movie, and then all you guys' names, whoever actors you want to include, maybe all our students, whatever you want, right? Once we have that, that pretty much gives us to our final product. So, I mean, close enough. I maybe zoomed in a little bit more in one of the images. The colors were a little bit different on my image. One of the things I did notice, though, is this guy's not as purple as this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to fix that by going to a more purplish color and maybe a more bluish colored over here, and see how that works. Let's go ahead and switch that over. Yeah, something like that. And so now bring all these back. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Another thing we could do is maybe Also play around with our curves. We brighten it up just a little. There we go. So I mean, that's completely up to you guys when you start messing around. But this is just a quick way for you guys to see how you can create a movie poster with yourself, and how you use all these techniques that Photoshop has available for you at your disposal. Uh, when you're choosing movie posters later on, make sure that you choose something you feel you're capable of doing. After you're done with this tutorial, we will also be working on this one right here, which is Fight Club, and I'll be showing you how you can kind of create this cartoon looking effect. And then we're going to be working with this one, Hangover, so you guys can get more into like how to do this kind of effect and how to do the outlines and the rectangles and just putting all these stuff together. So I hope this little tutorial was helpful for you guys, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. Thank you very much, and you have a good day.